Hello, 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 and my word, it's not raining. That is just fantastic news here at Misano, as I'm feeling pretty strong. This week. Didn't feel too strong at Kyle Army, felt great at Zolder, it didn't go well. And now on my third race, I've got a bit of dry weather to take out the errors. And we begin our qualifying lap, hooking up these first couple of corners very nicely. You can see we're gaining a tenth and a half through those first few corners already, and that puts us in good stead for the rest of the race. Braking very hard for this extremely difficult double right-hander. Very hard to know and see that second apex as we cut that corner to oblivion. 2.5 tenths up now on our previous best lap. Braking at about 100 meters out for this difficult left-hander, keeping it on the curb, getting great drive out the corner, and this is turning into an absolutely fantastic lap for us. Now a double right-hander, which isn't really a double right-hander, braking nice and straight and then coasting it in, keeping it nice and tight to the curb. Definitely could have done that one a little bit better, could have kept it a bit tighter, but you can see now we're half a second up, which is going to be a very competitive lap time. Now going very well through these flat right-handers into the very difficult right-hander, but we've hit that apex nicely. Braking a little early into there, we've cost ourselves just a bit of time on the exit because of that. And now again a bit cautious into the penultimate corner, giving up maybe a tenth through there, and the final corner now again a little bit cautious, so we were half a second up, instead we're going to be about 3 tenths up, which puts us on a 35.0. I hadn't actually got into the 34s before, but it felt like I genuinely could have had pole position there. I was on for a 34.7 at some points in that lap, but 5th place, 2 tenths off pole, absolutely delighted with that. Gemia, who's proven very quick, gets a 34.8, with the next 3 cars within half a tenth. Leroy, Michael and Eli doing very well, with Roadhouse, the Lexus who dominated last week, just behind. As we now go for the green light to start the race, can we not get mugged off? But we have got mugged off. That is Rossant, I believe, going up our inside into this corner, but we've managed to defend from him for just a little bit of time. He's still there on our outside, and we've got to leave him space through this right-hander. Got to lift as well to make the corner on these icy tyres, and that's a couple of a position lost already, which isn't ideal. We're down to 7th at the moment, so not ideal for the race start, but there's an hour to go. We can definitely claw those positions back if we can keep it clean, keep it speedy. But the most important thing right now is just to settle into a rhythm and try and get some consistent lap times through the door. Aiming at the mid 36s, low 36s maybe. Certainly at the start of the stint they might be possible, at the end maybe not. But it's all about being consistent, all about not making errors. Maybe less so than in the wet though, because the wet everyone seems to make errors unless you're a Lexus driver. But we just got to follow this train now and hopefully stay within touch for long enough to pounce on any mistakes that they might make. And now, as we begin the 3rd lap of the race, you can see we're gaining position here on Gemia, who's had to take a drive-through penalty for his position at the start. Poleman has not done well at all. That is absolute devastation for him. Kind of mistake you can't afford to make in pole position. Further down the field, maybe you can get away with it because you already sort of don't care, but that's gotta hurt. Very difficult to pick yourself up from something like that. As you can see, we've got the Ferrari all over the back of us, and we've absolutely pooped our pants through there. Lovely catch though. I'll be honest, it's going to sound little bit stupid, but I was daydreaming, and when I brought my head back towards the race, I didn't know where I was on the track. I didn't realise that I'd done the first of those fast right-handers already. So I came to the second one, did it, and then saw there was another apex a lot closer than I thought it would be. Hence, just completely panicking and turning it in a bit too vigorously, letting the back end kick out. Not really being prepared for the corner at all, and that let Flat spun out ahead of us, which was frustrating because our pace was pretty similar. So it meant that although he was going to sort of be with us the whole time, it meant that I was just going to be stuck behind him now instead, not really going to be able to make a move very easily. And he's in the same car as us. It's not like we're going to have any areas of the track where we're vastly different in pace that I can think about. Our engine's going to be the same, so I'm not going to get great drive of the corner as we absolutely destroy that apex. Very aggressive on the track limits this week, as you have to be at Misano. But it's a frustrating place to be. We've dropped 2 positions off the start, dropped another one there with a mistake, and only saving grace that we've also gained one from a drive-through penalty for someone else. And 40 minutes remain in the race, 20 minutes gone already. You can see Flat spun out's gone very wide there, and unfortunately we've not let ourselves get close enough. We've let ourselves drop back, which means we can't really pounce on mistakes like that. We need to be there, as he makes another mistake now, going very deep. Can we get him coming towards the double right-hander that isn't really a double right-hander? We're alongside him, but the track's always going to come his way there, as he's got the inside, he's got a tighter line. We just have to slot in behind him. And now, 25 minutes gone in the race, we've spent so long behind him. So long behind him. Now we've got a much better drive out that corner, and had we been right there with him, we might be able to mount better attack than it looks like we're going to be able to, but we brake later into this left-hander and just run out of track and grip and talent. Really need to work on racecraft on this game. More of an F1 racer, as I've been racing on that for years now, and it's a lot harder to get past people here. Basically you have to wait for a mistake and then barge your way through, and I'm just clearly not comfortable with that yet. As we pit now, going for an undercut on Flat spun out, braking pretty nicely for the pit line. And can we get the pit box right? Oh, it looks good. That looks very good. And they lift us up and then drop us back down, and then lift us up again. So it felt good, but in reality, it wasn't. As we almost stalled coming out of the pits there, which would have been even more fun. Where do we rejoin though? We rejoin about 3 seconds ahead of Random Punchline, who had dominated Kyle Army in the Wetmobile, Lexus, sorry. Finding it a bit harder in the dry, it would seem. And now we can see, and that is annoying. Not devastating, just annoying that Flat spun out has come out just ahead of us again. The absolute tyrant that continues to annoy just by driving around, as we get a load of those yellow curbs that want to spin you out, but we managed to survive them. You can see now, a couple minutes gone in this stint, we're still all over the back of him, still unable to make our way past. We show the nose up the inside, not going for a kamikaze move like that, but you can see he's taken an awkward line through there. He's gone a bit deep, and have we got the drive out the corner? No, obviously not. We're in the same car, we're never going to have the drive out the corner. And he's taking some awkward lines here, and we just can't quite get there. That is the most frustrating thing, is that it's holding me up quite a lot. I could be in the low 36s right now, definitely pushing for 35s for lap time, but we're limited by the car ahead of us, and there's not much else we can do. We've also got Random Punchline right on our backside as well, so there's every chance he's going to feel comfortable to make a move, knowing that worst case scenario, he just drops back behind me. I, however, have to try and worry about track position. I have to worry about, if I fall behind him, I'm probably not getting past again. As I've shown, I can't pass anyone. But it's all about persisting. We skipped about 10 minutes there, and same scenario, 7th place, following flat spun out, and the gorgeous Ferrari. And let's let you ride on board this lap. It's the fastest lap of the race, done stuck behind another car, which means it probably could have been faster, but it's always good to see a fastest lap. So we're going to cross the line. It's going to be a 35.700, and we've not gained much on him, if any, so he's picked up the pace a bit, and we almost run into the back of him there, just braking a bit later than maybe he does for that corner, taking a slightly tighter line to it, which I have been doing the whole race, which nearly ended in tears, as 8 minutes to go now, and we are still all over the back of him, closer than we've ever been really. And think about going up the inside here. Do we dare? We do not dare. And Brandon Punchline almost thinks about up the inside there, and we almost cut him off, but you can also see Leroy's gap. The gap to Leroy ahead has fallen as he's been in a collision ahead in the front pack, which had been very tight all race. So that is a potential position if we could force our way through, but now 5 minutes later we're still not past him. Leroy's getting closer and closer, and this could be 2 positions that we might be able to gain at the end of the race if we can just find a way through, but there's no reason to think we will. We've been stuck behind him for 50 minutes. There's absolutely no way through, as we now go on board with Flat Spun Out, who forgets to turn for the corner, and that has lost him so much momentum, and we are through. We're going to be through before we even reach the corner, so worldy overtake from us. You only get those once every hour or so, at least I do. That is a beautiful, beautiful move. As we now turn our attention to Leroy ahead, who is struggling so much. I've learnt from Kyle Army and increased my traction control and ABS settings so that my tyres aren't feeling it as much as I think other people's might be. I managed to take away the problem that the heavy load the right-handers were taking onto the left-hand side of the car. But now, heading for the final lap of the race, we are chasing down Leroy, the damaged Leroy, just over a second behind him, as we gain and gain and gain. Struggling so much through this first sector, and you can see how much we're gaining into the braking zone. He's really struggling on those tyres or with that damage, not opening up the corner as much as he could there, and we've gained almost half a second on him through that first sequence of corners, which is very encouraging. If we can keep up that, we'll be right on his tail at the end of the lap, as we now gain again just a little bit through that corner, maybe a tenth. He must be thinking that this is just a matter of time. I'm not though. I'm thinking, oh great, I've caught him. Caught him with 1 2 few laps to go. but we haven't closed enough through that corner. We've been too cautious and the gap has stayed about half a second. We need to be gaining in every corner to make this count. But we are gaining down the straight massively, almost 2 tenths down the straight. And now the very difficult section of the track. Close right up into the hairpin, so much into the hairpin. And now onto the penultimate corner of the race. Are we going to be able to do anything into the final corner? No, it's too little too late again. And that is disappointing. He goes very wide here. We get great drive out the corner. Are we going to be able to get him up to the line? Are we going to be able to get him? No, we're not. What a shame. What a shame. One more lap and I would have had him there, I think. I'm not sure he could have done too much fighting into that first corner if we'd have actually been there. And well done to Roadhouse on another victory. Less dominant than the last one though. Not by a minute this time on the rest of the field. But he does have a car similarly close behind, within a second of Michael. Eli rounds out the podium finishes. Very close fight for the lead. And Ross and Leroy, I believe, were the cars involved in a collision that resulted in us challenging Leroy at the end. But we don't finish. I don't think we finished more than 5 or 6 seconds off the lead, which is pretty good considering we were stuck behind a car for so long and losing time. So again, without little errors, you never know what could have been.